अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। ॐ श्री कृष्ण परमात्मने नमः।
Jai Gurudev Bela, please unmute yourself.
अथ अष्टादशोऽध्यायः मोक्षसंन्यासयोगः। अर्जुन उवाच सन्न्यासस्य महाबाहो तत्त्वमिच्छामि वेदितुं त्यागस्य च ऋषिकेश पृथक् केशिनिषूदन श्रीभगवानुवाच काम्यानां कर्मणां न्यासं सन्न्यासं कवयो विदुः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं प्राहुस्त्यागं विचक्षणाः त्याज्यं दोषवदित्येके कर्म प्राहुर्मनीषिणः यज्ञदानतपः कर्म न त्याज्यमिति चापरे निश्चयं शृणु मे तत्र त्यागे भरतसत्तमा त्यागो हि पुरुषव्याघ्रः त्रिविधः सम्प्रकीर्तितः यज्ञदानतपः कर्म न त्याज्यं कार्यमेव तत् यज्ञो दानं तपश्चैव पावनानि मनीषिणाम् एतान्यपि तु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतमुत्तमम् नियतस्य तु सन्न्यासः कर्मणो नोपपद्यते मोहात् तस्य परित्यागः तामसः परिकीर्तितः दुःखमित्येव यत्कर्म कायक्लेशभयात् त्यजेत् स कृत्वा राजसं त्यागं नैव त्यागफलं लभेत् कार्यमित्येव यत्कर्म नियतं क्रियतेऽर्जुन सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा फलं चैव सत्यागसात्विको मतः न द्वेष्ट्य कुशलं कर्म कुशलेनानुषज्यते त्यागी सत्त्वसमाविष्टो मेधावी छिन्न संशयः। ॐ तत्सत् सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
We are going to read from the second. Where is this page? I'm missing one page here.
Yes, but you can enlarge it.
Mm. Can you read this sloka one more time? The Sri Bhagavan Vacha.
Yeah, okay, Dr. Manana.
Okay. I
Shri
was muted.
Bhagavanu
Yeah.
श्रीभगवानुवाच काम्यानां
Mhm.
कर्मणां न्यासं सन्न्यासं कवयो विदुः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं प्राहुस्त्यागं विचक्षणाः.
So we are reading from second sloka today. So let me read this from the beginning. Shankara introduces the next verse, saying that here in the Gita Shastra, the words sannyasa and tyaga have both been used, but not directly commented upon, and therefore their meaning is not clear. In order to establish the meaning of the words sannyasa and tyaga for Arjuna, the questioner, Bhagavan continues. So you just read the sloka. Let me read the artha for you. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha said, Kavayaha, the wise, Kamayanam, Karmanam, Karmanam, of actions for the desired objects. Niyasam, renunciation. Sannyasam as sannyasa. Viduhu, no. Vichakshanaha, Vichakshanaha, the learned people. Vichakshanaha, the learned people. Sarva karma palatyagam, the renunciation of actions. Tyagam is tyaga, prag, they say. Sri Bhagavan said, the wise know sannyasa as renunciation of actions for desired objects. So Sri Bhagavan said, the wise know sannyasa as renunciation of actions for desired objects. The learned people say renunciation of the results of action is tyaga. So there is two meanings he's given here. Sannyasa is renunciation of action for desired objects. Then tyaga is renunciation of the result of action. The karmas told by the Veda. So the karmas told by the Veda. There are different types of karmas. Those enjoined There are different types of karmas, those enjoined in the Vedas as mandatory, nitya and naimitya karmas, and those that are optional, kamya karmas. Punya is accrued by all of them. So punya is accrued by all of them. But even a nitya or naimitya karma done for the sake of security or pleasure, artha or kama, is considered to be a kamya karma. So, one more time I'll read this. Punya is accrued by all of them, but even a nitya or naimitya karma done for the sake of security or pleasure, artha or kama, is considered to be a kamya karma. Among the karmas that are mentioned in the Vedas, some very simple like Agnihotra and some very elaborate like Aswamedha can be considered as kamya karmas because they all produce results in the form of desired things. A nitya karma is to be performed daily. The Sandhya Vadana, the Sandhya Vandana, the Sandhya Vandana, for example, is done every day at sunrise, noon, and sunset by a person who has been initiated into the Gayatri Mantra. Once he gets married, the Agnihotra and other karmas come into the picture. These are all Nitya karmas. Then we have the Naimitika karmas, those that are done on a given special occasion. On the day of an eclipse, for example, a certain karma is enjoined. Similarly, when there is a particular configuration of planets in the zodiac or on the death anniversary of the departed soul, there are prescribed rituals. There are prescribed rituals. These are called Naimitika karmas. These are mandatory. They have to be done. A kamya karma, on the other hand, may or may not be done. If you have a desire for a son, there is a ritual prescribed for that, the putra kameshti. Yeah. But if you do not want a son, or if you are not wealthy enough to perform the putra kameshti, you need not do it, and the injunction is not violated. Similarly, there are any number of rituals which you can perform if you are interested in a given end. All of them are kamya karmas and are purely optional. There is no mention made in the Vedas of the results of the Nitya Naimittika karmas. So there is no mention made in the Vedas of the results of the Nitya Naimittika karmas, but they also produce results because they are karmas. Whenever the result is not mentioned in the Shastra, there is general rule that the result is heaven. These Nitya Naimittika karmas also can be performed keeping that result in view and will therefore be kamya karmas, or they can be done for antakarana shuddhi. Though this is also a result, a karma done with this intention is not considered a kamya karma. Even so, called kamya karma can be performed for antakarana shuddhi. Even a so-called kamya karma can be performed for antakarana shuddhi, in which case it is no longer considered kamya karma. there are two more types of karma we should know about. One is Nishiddha karma, an action that we are not supposed to do and which is therefore prohibited. You are not supposed to harm any being, and therefore it is said, Himsam na kuryat, do not hurt. These actions are prohibited because they produce papa. And Shastra, being our well-wisher, Hitaishi, Hitaishi, it has to tell us this. Shastra, being our well-wisher, oh, Hitaishi, okay, Hitaishi, it has to tell us this. The Kamya karmas are not prohibited. They can produce desirable results for you, but those results will be limited in nature. Then we have a fourth type of karma, a prayaschitta karma, which you do as an antidote for wrong actions done in the past. So, prayaschitta karma is which you do as an antidote for wrong action done in the past. This completely absolves you from the result, karma pala, of those actions. That is also vihita, enjoined in the Vedas. If what you want, your purushartha, is very clear, then you will naturally drop kamya karmas and perform only nitya naimittika karmas. This is renunciation, niyasa. So, should I read this karmas one more time for any clarification you guys need?
If someone can explain in short, that will be better.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll read it again one more time, but it is really nice because the nitya naimittika karmas to be done, and it should be done without not having that result in result of action. Anyway, I'll read this one more time. Let's read it, then we'll summarize it. The karmas told by the Veda. There are different types of karmas, those enjoined in the Vedas as mandatory. So, those enjoined in the Vedas as mandatory is nitya and naimittika karmas. So, again, I'll read this line one more time. There are different types of karmas, those enjoined in the Vedas as mandatory, nitya and naimittika karmas. And those that are optional is kamya karmas. So, for us to do is nitya and naimittika karmas mandatory, and whereas the kamya karma is optional. Punya is accrued by all of them. Any karma that you do, there is punya and papa. There is two results of the action. But punya is from this even nitya and naimittika karma done for the sake of security and pleasure. So that's what this was, when you're doing it with the sake of security and pleasure, artha or kama is considered to be a kamya karma. So if you are doing nitya karma like your puja or something, then, for the pleasure or security, that is considered as kamya karma. So let me read this one more time. Punya is accrued by all of them, but even a nitya or naimittika karma done for the sake of security or pleasure, artha or kama, is considered to be a kamya karma. Among the karmas that are mentioned in the Vedas, some very simple like Agnihotra, and some are very elaborate like Aswamedha. So they can vary from Agnihotra to Aswamedha, can be considered as kamya karmas because they all produce results in the form of desired things. a Nitya karma is to be performed daily. The Sandhya Vandana is, for example, is done every day at sunrise, noon, and sunset by a person who has been initiated into the Gayatri mantra. Once he gets married, the Agnihotra and other karmas come into the picture. These are all Nitya karmas. So now we know what Nitya karma is. That is to be done daily. But if it is done for the Artha or Kama, then that is considered as a Kamya karma. So for Grahastha, then you can do Agnihotra, the other karmas come into the picture. That whatever that had to be done as a Nitya karma. Then we have the Naimitika karma. The second one is the Naimitika karmas. Those that are done on a given special occasion, that is like on the day of an eclipse, for example, certain karma is enjoined. Similarly, when there is a particular configuration of planets in the zodiac, or on the death anniversary of the departed soul. These are prescribed rituals. These are called Naimitika karmas. These are mandatory. They have to be done. So for the day of eclipse, or when the configuration of the planets changes, and then the death anniversary of a departed soul. Those are the Nitya Naimitika karmas are mandatory. But when it comes to Kamya karma, that is not. That's optional. A Kamya karma, on the other hand, may or may not be done. If you have a desire for a son, there is a ritual prescribed for that, the Putra Kameshti. But if you do not want a son, or if you are not wealthy enough to perform Putra Kameshti, you need not do it. And the injunction is not violated. Similarly, there are any number of rituals which you can perform if you are interested in a given end. All of them are Kamya karmas and are purely optional. There is no mention made in the Vedas of the results of the Nitya Naimitya karmas. So here this is to be noted. There is no mention made in the Vedas of the results of the Nitya Naimitya karmas, but they also produce results because they are karmas. Whenever the result is not mentioned in the Shastra, there is general rule that the result is heaven. These Nitya Naimitya karmas also can be performed keeping that result in view and will therefore be Kamya karmas. Or they can be done for Antakarana Shuddhi. Though this is also a result, a karma done with this intention, though this is also a result, a karma done with this intention is not considered a Kamya karma. So the Antakarana Shuddhi, you keep that as a end, that is not considered Kamya karma. Even so-called Kamya karma can be performed for Antakarana Shuddhi, in which case it is no longer considered a Kamya karma. So there are two more types of karma we should know about. One is Nishiddha karma, an action that we are not supposed to do, which is therefore prohibited. We are not supposed to harm any being, therefore it is said, Himsam na kuryat. Do not hurt. These actions are prohibited because they produce papa. And Shastra being our well-wisher, Hitaishi, that it has to tell us this. Himsam na kurya. So the Kamya karmas are not prohibited. So Nishida karma is prohibited. Kamya karmas are not prohibited. They can produce desirable results for you, but those results will be limited in nature. Then we have fourth type of karma, a prayashitta karma, which you do as an antidote for wrong action done in the past. This completely absolves you from the result, karma pala, of those actions. That is also a vihita, enjoined in Vedas. So Veda vihita. So the prayashita karma, it absolves you from the result because you are doing for that counteract that wrong action. If you want, if what you want your purushartha, if what you want your purushartha is very clear, then you will naturally drop kamya karmas and perform only nitya naimittika karmas. This is renunciation, nyasa. So to summarize, there are 4 different kinds of karmas that's described by the Veda, right? The nitya karma, naimittika karma, and then the nishida karma, prayachita karma. Of nitya karma, that you are doing nitya karma for the security or pleasure reason, that the artha and kama, then it becomes kamya karma. So you receive the result. For every karma, you do get the pala, and then that pala is going to be limited end. But if you do the nitya karma for the sake of antakarna shuddhi, that is not kamya karma. So that is considered that to progress in your that spiritual path, that antakarna shuddhi. So the other karma that was explained here was the naimittika karma, which is also mandatory, that you do it when there is a ritual during the eclipse or change of constellation in your zodiac thing, and then the anniversary of death anniversary of the departed soul. That is 3 of those things. This we are to perform that whatever ritual to be performed at the naimittika karma. So nitya naimittika karma is mandatory, but there is this nishida karma which is prohibited. That is harming the being, anything. So that is to be prohibited, the nishida karma. The other karma is the prayachita karma. When we do something wrong, action, that to be absolved, like resolve that, you do this ritual to overcome that wrong action. So that's pretty much about that. So renunciation of the naturally drop kamya karma. So if you're really wanting to have this purushartha, that we only follow nitya naimittika karmas, not drop the kamya karmas, the not having the result on the end. So please share your thoughts on this.
So I'm just reminded of the shloka in chapter 9. It says, Ananyas chintayanto mam ejana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. So we, according to this, according to the Vedas, we are supposed to do as grahastas and nitya naimitika karmas. Avoid the nishiddha karma and not worry about the kamya karma. Kamya karma is optional. So as long as you're doing your nitya naimitika karmas with your moksha purushartha in mind and not your yoga kshema, not your security and pleasure, Krishna gives us the guarantee he will take care of the yoga and kshema. Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. He will take care of this. So with what intention we do our karmas, nitya naimitika karmas is very important. The only thing is, which is not very clear, is the end, the result of the nitya naimitika karma. Because they are also karmas, they also have an end in mind. They also have a result. And here it is mentioned the result is heaven. So that is not very very clear, but maybe as we read forward, we will understand that better.
I think that is Antakarana Shuddhi only. The result is Naimitta Karma. It will be Antakarana Shuddhi. So all the mala, they will go and we have clarity of mind. So
Yeah,
that
it
hidden,
is all.
Like it's mentioned, if what you want, your purushartha is very clear, then you will naturally drop the kamya karma and perform only nitya naimitya karma. So it is like we are acting according to the dharma only. What should be done is to be done. Not action is not done guided by or favored by our own likes, dislikes, or our personal desires. So it is like in accordance with the dharma, if we are doing, and the aim of the goal of our is to attain that moksha or that supreme. So it is that goal is clear. So you are doing whatever, just like the Jivan Mukta is doing. No, he is not attached. He is just doing his work, whatever his job is, but he is doing with an unattached feelings. That he doesn't have that desires, personal desires. So just this is like what I followed from this last line. That way we will be dropping that kamya karma. We don't have our personal desires and just performing the nitya naimitya karma. This is what I understood. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is renunciation. Yes, I think the Jivan Mukta is the last step, I think, which a human can attain before that liberation.
But the karmas doesn't get you, I mean, it helps with the antakarana shuddhi maybe. But
yeah, so that way that antakarana shuddhi will happen, no? When you are doing
right.
your karma without any desire of result of action, and you have no likes and dislikes, your action is guarded only in accordance with the dharma, not your own likes and dislikes. In that way, we will be doing our antakarna shuddhi also, and we will not be binded by our karmas. So in that way, I think we will be doing our nitya naimitya karma also, and not
I think that
like
adds on to that karma yoga that we read yesterday. So you're not attached to the result of action, and with the
doing
attitude of the devotion that you continue to do it, and then hopefully that will help us. But what it mentioned, like Dr. Pramara said, that when they don't mention about the result of any action, so every action is happens, there is an equal opposite reaction, right? So like that, that phala for that action is not mentioned, then the end result is heaven. That's what it said in this. It's supposed to be understood like that. Like she said, the heaven part is we don't know what heaven is. That's probably what she was telling you.
Yeah, heaven. I think heaven for a human is like that uppermost.
Right. That there is two
Yeah.
different thing, right? One is the when you have punya and phala, that papa that was accrued through your actions. Based on punya, you go to swarga or you enjoy those thing, and then when it's finished, then you're going to come back to that whatever need to be taken care of. So in that sense, that
That
what it
in that
mentioned.
sense, it would be that punya karma. You are accumulating
Yeah.
the punya so that you go to the that swarga. You can
No,
say it
the heaven
in that
means,
form.
excuse
Yeah.
me, the
Yeah.
heaven means it's a good life in the next janma. You know,
Yeah,
That's probably true.
it can be
It
said
can.
so.
yeah,
Yeah, it
that
can
is
be
what.
said.
So, because on our Phalashruti, that is whether it is good karma or bad karma, accordingly we get the life. You know, so when you do a good karma, we'll get a good life in the next, so that we can pursue the same, and we enjoy it, and then pursue the higher goal. That is, I think, the heaven. So heaven and hell are in the world only. If you are suffering, it is due to your own karma. If you are enjoying, it is heaven only, due to your good karma.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
I think according to what I understand, heaven, one aspect is this, that you get a good life later, but heaven or hell does not need to be after some time. It is right here and now. If you are happy, content in your mind, that is heaven. If it is otherwise, your mind is disturbed, that is hell. So this nitya naimitika karmas, as long as you're doing them, you're not doing anything else. You're not following your senses, for instance. You're not following your raga dveshas. So as long as you're doing that, you are your mind is settled, is happy, is not agitated. So probably even that could be considered heaven. And that is what that antakarna shuddhi also happens, because you're not following your senses. Because the moment you start following your senses and you want this and that, that becomes kamya karma. That becomes having an end in mind. Whereas nitya naimitik karmas are enjoined by the Vedas. It is like an injunction. It is like a mandatory thing for every grahastha to do. So when you take it up like that, as a discipline, that yes, I have to do it no matter what, but you're not doing it for something. See, if the moment you start doing it for something, for punya, then it becomes a kamya karma again. Punya again, why? You want to get a better life. But that again, you're deviating from your moksha purushartha. Moksha is what you want to get out of the cycle of birth and death. But punya and papa are again binding you back into the samsara. So I think that heaven they mention as the result of nitya naimitika karma is having a steady state of mind, is my little understanding. But maybe we can, when we read further and Swamiji explains, we'll be able to understand better.
Didi, what about a karma which we do for benefit of good of others, like for children? If some mothers keep fasting for some good result for children, like some goodness come, so that some goodness come in their life, or maybe might be results
So all of
also.
that is kamya karma, right? Like when you're
So
doing
it
it
affects
for
us also. Yeah, it's a karmic karma for sure. But how does it affect us? We should abstain from it.
Bind us in the next Janma, no?
shouldn't affect anything.
Binding karma.
You're just doing it for whatever the benefit of other people, then even that is considered as selfless act. Like you're doing it for others, right? Somebody who's sick, your friend or family member, you're praying for them, or you're doing prayer for children, or doing whatever that further things. It's you're doing it for them, but then it becomes
I
just
also have this question, this query, like what is if that we are doing for our people around us? So in a way, we are again binding ourselves again, so that in the next life, whatever you give to a person, you will have to take it back in any other form, maybe. So
you
what
do
was
it, yeah, without attaching, yeah, my son, my daughter, like that, without
but
having
you
that
can't
kind of.
do so, no? If you are doing some puja or some any, like whatever, in any form, if you are doing something, you will be having a name and form of that person, no? In general, if we pray for the world or the universe, then we don't have a picture of some form or name, we do not have. But if we are having a name and form, then that energy is being directed there. So what I think is, again, that we are binding ourselves. I was also like, I am also in this dilemma, like what should be done. And that is why, like, sometimes I myself get confused, let leave it, or should I do? So this is there, this
When
dilemma is
somebody is suffering, you can't leave it like that, right?
no, yeah, this is
Yeah.
this is
So
this is
that
what
is,
is happening. No, those we can't
yeah.
come out of this Maya clutch. So
That's what
it
it
is
is. We have to be detached.
we
Like
yeah.
you don't have to say my son or my daughter like that. You can say their name, maybe. That's and
Divi,
Jai Gurudev.
that's what
Divi,
I
what
feel.
about
You are doing
Jai
detached, but
Gurudev.
at the same time, you do it for other, you know, than
yeah.
other people. That's how
Yeah,
I
we
would.
do it for them, but we don't bind ourselves to the result. Whatever the result comes, that's fine. Like, then we are not attached to the result. We are praying, we would want to pray, but that's it, for goodness
Yeah,
of a
yeah, yeah.
child, or and not attached to the result, whether that thing
No,
happens or not. You know, that will
no,
help.
Correct.
that is a different aspect of it. I am talking like, if you are giving somebody something, then like, just as an action have a reaction. So if you're giving it to someone, then it is that you will have to receive it back. If you're doing some punya to a person, then you are again gaining that punya, no? It is irrelevant whatever the result of action would be. We are not focusing on that. It is, if
Jai
even if we
Gurudev.
pray, no, if
Yeah,
even if
This
we
Didi.
way,
pray
yeah, this
Yeah,
that
way, if we
gifting,
look at it,
etc.
this way, yeah,
Sorry.
this way, if we look at this way, if we look at Gurudev and Bhanuma and all, so once you let go, like idam na mama, they say, no, idam na mama. See, our Rishi Munis have never said that kasya karam na, kasya sukham na karoti viraga, they say, no. But we are not sannyasis, we are following the karma path, no, karma yoga. So good karma should happen through you. So how we, like, Devloka has its own, Devatas have their own role, very important role in this Mayavi Jagat, as well as for the upliftment of the soul up to the ultimate realization also. साक्षात्कार भी और संसार भी दोनों हाथ में लड्डू. So we need to do that, the dana, tapa, yajna, all these karmas, and especially when we are married and we are grahastha, this is our dharma also. So with idam namama and letting go, you take the sankalpa, you do gau puja, you do danam for gau mata, you do everything for your pitars, you know, ancestors. Everything you have to perform because we have taken that grahastha. But with what attitude? This I am doing, and as she said, that result is whatever is there, it is there, and it will continue. So, according to Savita ji, if we think that, then is it that Bhanuma and Gurudev will have to take again the life with physical form to enjoy all the whatever good karmas they have done? It's not like that. If we hold on in our inner bosom, the kartutva bhav, then the results also you will have to enjoy taking the physical form. When you let it go from your inner this thing, and I'm just playing the role because you are parents also. So give means welfare of the family and good health and good everything for this thing, and praying for the devatas, doing the danas for good welfare of your own kith and kin is also a important part of seva also, and it is your responsibility also. But when you keep that idam namama thing, na, then the karmas will not bind you, either negative or positive. You go beyond that for 100% sure. You can feel that also. Like when we uh, take the courses, no, when we sit on that seat with this bhava that this body, mind, and nothing is mine, Gurudev, you use it to the best of the ability for the best of these group of people sitting in front of me. So that doership, that teachership, and nothing touches you. You can experience it that way. So whatever is the result of those, some people will get wonderful experiences of Sudarshan Kriya, some may not get. But then you are not responsible for that. You are doing your job, you are doing your role as a teacher over there, and you are passing on all the Sudarshan Kriya, all the knowledge and everything to the people. What they receive and all, it is not, you can just pray to Gurudev that let this group of people get the best of it. That's all. And there, the role is over. So, uska kya result milega and all, don't worry about that. Idam namame, it's not mine. The doership, the moment you drop the doership, the karma ka this thing will not touch you at all. Jai Gurudev.
Didi, what about the gifting culture in India? That's also very, sometimes it is painful. You don't want to, but it happens, and then you just keep thinking how I can like return, or maybe how that cycle starts. What about that? Uh, how do we, surrender there?
See, there also some vyavhar you will have to maintain, no? You are in the social structure, and keep it to the like there you will have to take the call moment to moment, I think. Don't keep it too much pending, and definitely as Gurudev says, no, that highest type of dhanam or highest type of this thing is bringing them on the path of knowledge. So take it as a seva bhav only, but of course wherever it is needed, you need to follow the norms of the society. No? So
Guruji says, no, the spontaneous work what you do as per your natural instinct is always a perfect work. Now a child has fallen, immediately you will just help him to get up. That is the spontaneous. You don't think what will happen if I lift him and all that. So the natural swabhava of yours will automatically come into play, and that is the perfect karya what you are doing at that moment. You don't think of what is happen and what is not happen.
Yeah, it
I
is
think
based on
she
that
was asking
Subhava.
about gifting,
Anyway,
gifting.
we want
This,
to kind of not sidetrack right now. Let's read it. And then as we go along, it may be coming someplace. I'm not sure about this gifting again. They do based on the sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic attitude. So the sattvic, like what he mentioned, Surajji, like you do it spontaneously without expecting any reaction. I mean, pradipala from that person. Whereas rajasic, you're doing it. Say, for example, you are giving some money to somebody for your getting some signature from them or something like that. That is a different kind of rajasic aspect of it. And tamasic is more, it's not for any good purpose. The money that was given or whatever that was done for not good purpose. That's the tamasic.
Yeah.
That's
Jai
how
Gurudev, Dr. Mara.
Yeah.
There was one line in the previous paragraph that you read about Kamya karmas. Kamya karma can also be done without. There was one sentence about Kamya karmas. When you do it without the end in mind. Can you just read that part, please?
Sure. So the Kamya karma here, the first one is with security or pleasure, artha and kama, that is considered as Kamya karma. And that they are all produce result in the form of desired things. Okay, that's what the desired things for Kamya karma. Whereas here, the Kamya karma, the end here, all of them are Kamya karmas are purely optional. There is no mention about in the Vedas. Okay, I'll read from here. A Kamya karma, on the other hand, may or may not be done. If you have a desire for a son, there is a ritual prescribed for that, the Putra Kameshti. But if you do not want a son, or if you are not wealthy enough to perform the Putra Kameshti, you need not do it. And the injunction is not violated. Similarly, there are a number of rituals which you can perform if you are interested in a given end. All of them are Kamya karmas and are purely optional. There is no mention made in the Vedas of the results of the Nitya Naimitika karmas, but they also produce results because they are karmas. Whenever the result is not mentioned in the Shastra, there is a general rule that the result is heaven. These Nitya Naimitika karmas also can be performed, keeping that result in view, and will therefore be Kamya karmas. Or they can be done for Antakarna Shuddhi. Though this is also a result, a karma done with this intention, like Antakarna Shuddhi as an intention, is not considered a Kamya karma. Even so-called Kamya karma can be performed for Antakarna Shuddhi, in which case no longer considered a Kamya karma. So is that what you wanted, Dr.?
Yes, that is what I wanted. So here, going back to this aspect of heaven, this is the Adrishta Phala. If you remember in the beginning, I think introduction, we came across this Adrishta Phala, as in, supposing you do an action, the result is much more than what you get, much more than what you intend. And this Adrishta Phala can come in so many ways. It can be a good situation for you. a conducive situation for your growth towards your moksha purushartha. So many things. So this heaven aspect is, I think, that adrishta phala, which is what the nitya naimitika karmas give. But if you're doing your nitya naimitika karmas with an end in mind, that yes, if I do this, I will get punya, then it becomes a kamya karma. So you do your nitya naimitika karmas with just the antakarana shuddhi in mind, which is also a kamya, which is also an end in mind, but that will not lead you to, that is not considered a kamya karma. So you're just doing it because the Shastra says you have to do it, with that faith in the Shastra, that yes, this is for my purification, and the only Purushartha I have in mind is moksha, then it does not become a kamya karma. Plus, all kamya karmas, all the yagas, yajnas and homas that you do, if you do it with this goal in mind, this antakarana shuddhi in mind, even they do not become kamya karmas.
Right. True.
Yeah. That is all. I just thought I.
Yeah, Jai Gurudev. There is a mention of different lokas. I don't know whether it is mentioned in Puranas or in the Vedas. They have mentioned the different lokas, right? Pitru loka. So, is there a heaven in that lokas?
We did somewhere like 14 lokas, 7 on top.
Yeah.
7
Was
down,
that in
like
the
that.
Vedas or it's in Puranas?
Yeah. I don't remember where we read it, but one of these days we read it.
There were 14 lokas mentioned, no, 7 above and 7 below, like this. And they were the names like Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, like this, Maha.
But we read somewhere in the, other than this, what we read is Bhaja Govindam, right? Somewhere here only we read it. Anyway, it doesn't come to my mind. Oh, did we read it in Bhagavatam or something? Maybe we did that.
No, I think we read it in chapter 10. Chapter 10 or 11 maybe. We did that.
Yeah. Oh, memories. Okay. Anyway, we'll go ahead and read this and then we'll come back to it.
It's not at lokas. Heaven is not in that lokas. In that 14 lokas, heaven is not there.
Yeah, it is. Swarga Loka is considered as a heaven, right? That's what they call.
Which one?
They call it Swarga Loka, right? That's the call of heaven.
But it isn't included in that list that they have mentioned. No, the names they have mentioned: Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, Maha,
Jana,
Satyam,
Tapa, Satya,
Jana.
Tala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, Patala, and Naraka.
So
and
that
Naraka is
Swaha
mentioned, then Swaka is maybe.
Swaha is Swarga. Swaha is Swarga.
Maybe that is. 7 are above and 7 are below. The Tala are all below the earth, and the rest are all above. Like
In the future, we'll get a
did this.
spaceship and we'll go around it. Look for
That
it.
may be self.
Anyway, one thing we need to understand is all these lokas are also part of the Maya Jagat, which is
It's
our
created
intention is to
by
go
us.
beyond this Maya.
Heaven, it can be said like a mukta, who is experiencing mukti, liberation, liberated one. That is a heaven for everyone now, because you are free of everything there. No, that is heaven.
No. Heaven is a place where you exhaust your punya and you come back again. Going to heaven. See, that is what later, as we keep reading, Shankaracharya brings in the Purva Pakshi, the Karma Kanda, who say through action you gain liberation, you gain Swarga. For them, through action, through doing your Nitya Naimitika karmas and all the Karma Kanda, you get punya, and then that leads you to liberation. But Shankaracharya ji, he gives a counter argument. So he brings in the question of a Purva Pakshi, and then he counter argues and says, no, through action, you cannot get liberation. So Swarga is not the end. It is only keeping you from doing otherwise bad things. I mean, instead of following your raga dveshas, because you're doing these nitya naimitika karmas, you are your mind space is not occupied by any other raga dvesha. You're doing this. So that is the adrishta phala that comes in as the form of heaven. I think when we read forward, we will understand. Swarga is certainly not the ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, that's all like imaginary. I don't know, it's probably, but when you say when you're free, you're going to be mixed as a particle somewhere, or not even a particle, somewhere you'll be floating somewhere. That's it. It's you don't go to any look. You'll be mixed with the Brahman, and that's it.
Correct. In Atma Bodh, we learnt, no? The second shloka in Atma Bodh, karma is also born of ignorance. So no karma can liberate you. It is only through jnana that liberation is possible.
Right.
So therefore, no nityanaitika karma can liberate you.
Yesterday, I was listening to the Yoga Vashishta of that is on app, no? So in one of the episode, he is telling ki Gurudev has given him the he was volunteering in the Shakti Kriya, and he was given duty of seeing how the people are doing it and make them correct. But he was seeing one person who is doing very wrong, and he was was waiting for a Gurudev's गुरुजी का वो चाहते थे कि गुरुजी कुछ उन्हें बताए कि वो उनको हाथ लगाए. वो भी सारे जो अपने कोर्स के प्रिंसिपल फॉलो करके वेट कर रहे थे कि गुरुदेव उनको कुछ बोलेंगे कि उसको सही करना है कि नहीं करना है.
Sorry, can I request you to speak in English so everybody can understand?
Sorry.
Thank you.
I was listening to Yoga Vashishta yesterday of Nakul. So he was telling, he was volunteering in the Shakti Kriya course, and Gurudev was there, and he was observing everyone. So he was following the whatever the art of living courses follow, don't touch and don't speak, like that to participant. So he was not doing anything because he was not supposed to do or disturb the participant. And the participant who was doing the Kriya was totally wrong, Shakti Kriya. So he was waiting, Nakul was waiting, so Gurudev can give some hint to him what to do. But Gurudev didn't give. But that person who was doing the Kriya totally wrong got the effects of the Shakti Kriya in the whole session, crowd first. So it is not that if you are following Kriya, Nitya Naimittik Karma or anything, you will get a result, desired result so fast, or you may not get it also. So it's just happening.
It is grace of the Guruji,
But for grace, the Antakaran Shuddhi was required.
No, because Nakul had that intention and automatically grace happened.
Okay, we'll go forward. What is sannyasa? Sannyasa, however, is the giving up.
If the Kamya Karmas are optional, can the Kamya Karmas will take to heaven?
Okay.
Kamya karmas have limited results, no?
Results.
They are limited. Now again, the question is, what is heaven?
Yeah. So, are you sure you're going to get to heaven? That is the That
so
is the
if
problem.
I remember right,
I think it is Sachidanand only.
Just now, whatever
it's not
we are
Sachidananda is not heaven. It's a liberation.
I think if I remember right, I may be wrong, but heaven, Swamiji explained in the beginning, in the introduction, as adrishta phala, some grace. It is that the um, the unseen power that if 2 plus 2 equals 4, but 2 plus 2 equals 10, so that extra thing that you get is adrishta phala. So I think that is
Maybe
what you get
because of
by
that adrushya phala, that person was doing kriya, got the result fast.
Yeah,
Because he was entitled for that adrushya phala. He may not be doing the correct way, but he got that result. And in the presence of master. Maybe like that.
could be.
Anyway, shall we move forward?
Yeah, let's move forward.
Okay, good. So what is sannyasa? Sannyasa, however, is the giving up of even the nitya naimittika karmas. Now, karma is not something that can be given up, like chocolate. So now karma is not something that can be given up like chocolate. You can only stop doing it. But when you do, that can be laziness or adharma. Because if what is to be done is not done, it creates problems, especially in a society which is based on duties. It is something like a piston saying, I am not going to work today. This is a nice story that we read. Excuse me. I am not going to work today. If the piston were to stop working, the whole engine will malfunction. Similarly, if the duty enjoined in the society in which everybody is supposed to perform is not done, the whole society comes to a standstill or becomes a mess. Therefore, we have to say here that sannyasa is the giving up of nitya naimittika karmas in accordance with a vidhi. Okay, so therefore we have to say here that sannyasa is the giving up of nitya naimittika karmas in accordance with the vidhi. First, he has to go to a teacher with the clarity about what he wants with purushartha nichaya. He must know exactly what is time bound, anitya, and have a dispassion towards that vairagya. Then he must have a love for what is not time bound, nitya, and what only knowledge of that, nothing else. If he goes to a teacher and lives with him for some time until he understands what is going on, the teacher gives him sannyasa. Until then, he is performing karmas. But when he takes sannyasa, he releases himself from all obligatory duties by a ritual enjoined in the Shastra. That is sannyasa. In a duty-based society, this is not an ordinary thing. A ritual is performed whereby you absolve yourself from playing all roles and performing all duties. Society accepts that. The Vedas also accept it. How do we know this is sannyasa? The Kavis say so. A Kavi is a person who knows the Shastra. Shastrajna, a wise person who sees things clearly. Dirgadarshi. Some of them understand the non-performance of kamya karma and nitya naimittika karma to be sannyasa, known as videsha sannyasa, renunciation of action backed by a desire to know. Real sannyasa is sarva karma sannyasa, which is purely knowledge. So real sannyasa is sarva karma sannyasa, which is purely knowledge. It has nothing to do with giving up karma, but is purely in the form of the knowledge. I perform action, so I perform no action. This is what we call sarva karma sannyasa. Here, however, sannyasa as a lifestyle is pointed out. Our sannyasa as a lifestyle is pointed out. Okay, let me read this one paragraph again. So, what is sannyasa? Sannyasa, however, is the giving up of even the nitya naimittika karmas. Now, karma is not something that can be given up like shortly. You can only stop doing it, but when you do, that can be laziness or adharma. Because if what is to be done is not done, it creates problems, especially in a society which is based on duties. It is something like a piston saying, I am not going to work today. If the piston were to stop working, the whole engine will malfunction. Similarly, if the duty enjoined in a society in which everybody is supposed to perform is not done, the whole society comes to a standstill or becomes a mess. Therefore, we have to say here that sannyasa is giving up of nitya naimittika karmas in accordance with vidhi. First, he has to go to a teacher with the clarity about what he wants. So there's a point here. He has to go to a teacher with the clarity about what he wants, with the purushartha nichaya. He must know exactly what is time bound, anitya, and have a dispassion towards that, vairagya. So what is time bound? And towards that, developing dispassion, so vairagya. And then he must have a love for what is not time bound, nitya, and want only knowledge of that. So, nothing else. If he goes to a teacher and lives with him for some time until he understands what's going on, the teacher gives him sannyasa. Until then, he is performing karmas, but when he takes sannyasa, he releases himself from all obligatory duties by a ritual enjoined in the Shastra. That is sannyasa. In a duty-based society, this is not an ordinary thing. A ritual performed whereby you absolve yourself from playing all roles and performing all duties. Society accepts that. Vedas also accept it. How do we know this is sannyasa? The Kavi say so. A Kavi is a person who knows the Shastra, Shastrajna, is a wise person who sees things clearly, Dirgadarshi. Some of them understand the non-performance of Kamya Karma and Nitya Naimitya Karma to be sannyasa, known as Vividesha Karma, sannyasa, renunciation of action backed by a desire to know. Real sannyasa is Sarva Karma sannyasa, which is purely knowledge. So real sannyasa is Sarva Karma sannyasa, which is purely knowledge. It has nothing to do with giving up karma, but is purely in the form of knowledge.
Hariom, Dr. Mara, could you please read once again the previous paragraph last from Vairagya, please? He must know exactly what is time-bound, anitya, and have a dispassion towards that Vairagya. After that line, please.
Okay, sure. Then he must have a love for what is not time bound, that is nitya. Okay, what is not time bound, nitya, and what only knowledge of that. So about the truth, nothing else. So he wants to only know about nitya and what is the truth about that and the knowledge about that. And if he goes to a teacher and lives with him for some time until he understands what is going on, the teacher gives him sannyasa. Until then, he is performing karmas, but when he takes sannyasa, he releases himself from all obligatory duties by a ritual enjoined in the Shastra. That is sannyasa. In a duty-based society, this is not an ordinary thing. A ritual is performed whereby you absolve yourself from playing all roles and performing all duties. Society accepts that. The Vedas also accept it. How do we know this is sannyasa? The Kavis say so. A Kavi is a person who knows the Shastra. Shastrajna. A wise person who sees things clearly. Dirghadarshi. Somebody's maybe are not yet muted. Some of them understand the non-performance of kamya karma and nitya naimitika karma to be sannyasa, known as vividisha sannyasa. So some people understand just not performing kamya karma, nitya naimitika karma to be sannyasa, known as vividisha sannyasa. Renunciation of action backed by a desire to know. Real sannyasa is sarva karma sannyasa. So there is a difference between vividisha sannyasa and the sarva karma sannyasa. So sarva karma sannyasa, which is a purely knowledge. It has nothing to do with giving up karma, but is purely in the form of the knowledge. So I perform no action. This is what we call sarva karma sannyasa. Here, however, sannyasa's lifestyle is pointed out. Next one is, what is tyaga? And we have like 2 more pages to read. Okay, let me read about tyaga also, then we can probably discuss. What is tyaga? Now, what is tyaga? Other learned people, visakshanas, say it is renunciation of the results of all actions. Sarva karma palatyaga. This rules out kamya karma. No one is going to perform a kamya karma for the sake of renouncing the karma pala. If he does, it is not a kamya karma. I may perform the same karma like Agnihotra or Jyotishtoma, but without expecting a result other than Antakarna Shuddhi. This is not looked upon as a result because it is not something other than myself. In any other result, some obtaining prapti is involved. Okay, in any other result, some obtaining prapti is involved. Punya is acquired and encased as artha or kama. Rituals do not produce artha and kama directly. Even though I may perform a given ritual in order to get some money, The performance of the ritual itself does not immediately produce the result. So here, even though I may perform a given ritual in order to get some money, the performance of the ritual itself does not immediately produce the result. In fact, money in the form of materials is made into ashes in the ritual. But the idea is that out of the ashes will come something unseen, adrishta, which will produce situations that will perhaps help me gain what I want. That is punya, grace. Prayer has this capacity to produce what is adrishta, not visible, but which will accrue to the one who performs the karma and to the one who has the karma performed on his behalf, yajamana, that will transform itself into situation conducive for his achieving what he wants. I'll read this paragraph again. It's like a little complicated.
I think we have about 8 minutes left. Do you want to read this, or we take it up tomorrow? Because we will have time to play some either Brahmajnana Vali Mala, or well, we will not have time to do that.
We have 8 minutes. So Brahmajana Vali Mala would be longer, right? I don't know. I can play it. So see, that's fine. I can stop here.
You can read this, and then we can just play Maya Panchakam in that case. We will not have time to discuss this, but we'll do this Tyaga tomorrow. We'll repeat this again tomorrow.
Yeah. So whatever you are saying, Adrishtapala, that's what they are explaining in Tyaga here. Here, however, all the karmas are performed for the sake of Antakarna Shuddhi, which is not something other than myself. So here, however, all the karmas are performed for the sake of Antakarna Shuddhi, which is not something other than myself. That has to be accomplished by an action. When the jiva, retaining his individuality, wants to accomplish something connected to himself, then he gains what we call karma pala. This antakarna shuddhi, however, is not a karma pala, because the very prayer itself is able to give antakarna shuddhi. In our shastra, doing a prayer or ritual for antakarna shuddhi, because it is not considered a karma pala, is called karma pala tyaga. There is no pala kept in view, neither heaven nor artha, security, nor any form of kama, pleasure. What is kept in view is moksha, and moksha is yourself. So, there are 6 minutes. Let me see. I have to stop sharing. You want to say the Shanti Pata? I'll try to see again. Maya Panchakam.
Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
Hari Om Brahmaraji, I have one request. I'm sorry to interrupt in between. Tomorrow is Shankara Jayanti, Can we do something different? I mean, along with our Manana
12th,
session, of
no?
course.
12th. Dr. Mara, can you just hold it once? 1 minute. Yeah.
Sure.
Shankar Jayanti is 12th Bela, which is
Yeah, okay.
Sunday.
Yeah, okay, it is 12th, huh? I thought it is 11th. Okay.
No, it is 12th. We'll do
Okay,
something. We'll
so-
plan something that day. Yeah.
Okay. Dhanyavad.
You can put your suggestions in the group and we'll take it up there.
Yeah.
निरुपमनित्यनिरंशकेऽप्यखण्डे मयि चिति सर्वविकल्पनादिशून्ये घटयति जगदीश जीवभेदम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया श्रुतिशतनिगमान्तशोधकानपि अहह धनादिनिदर्शनेन सद्यः कलुषयति चतुष्पदाद्यभिन्ना न घटितघटना पडीयसी माया सुखचिदखण्डविबोधमद्वितीयम् वियदनलादिविनिर्मित्ते नियोज्य भ्रमयति भवसागरे नितान्तम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया अपगतगुणवर्णजातिभेदे सुखचितिविप्रविडाद्यहङ्कृतिं च स्फुटयति सुतदारकेहमोहम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया विधिहरिहरविभेदमप्यखण्डे बत विरचय्य बुधानपि प्रकामम् भ्रमयति हरिहरविभेदभावान् घटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया
अप्रतिम
वेदान्तवाक्येषु